Welcome to Heartland Talks with JPS Realty Group, and today we're bringing on the OG, the GOAT, John Jerkovich.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
How you guys doing?
Morning. You didn't introduce me and Jake.
Oh, and Jason, and Jake.
I'll Jason and Jake.
And I'm Yvette.
Yeah, it might get a little confusing. My nickname's Jake. Well, first of all, John, I should thank you because the reason that I'm a partner at Heartland Properties is because of John. Been here since 1995 and became a partner in 98. And John built all this from the beginning. And we just want you to tell us a little bit about like what that journey was like and how you ended up starting Heartland Properties.
Well, it was a lot of fun. In 1984, my dad actually was an usher at St. Patrick's Church with Gary Fisher. And I was I was painting houses for Uncle Frank and I wouldn't say lost. I was having a great time in life. Lived in a $44,000 house, enjoying life and having fun. And my dad was worried about, I didn't go to college. Went to Iowa Western for a year. Kind of phased out of Iowa Western. But Gary was a real estate agent at Key Real Estate. My dad talked me into taking a class with Norma Edwards, and he took it with me.
That's awesome.
And so I took the class, and my dad had no intentions of going into real estate. He just took the class with me, and then I ended up taking the test and passed, and decided to go work for Hunter Realty.
Okay.
And that was in 1984, and worked there 3 or 4 years, and met Barb and Don Coates. Barb was a fellow agent, and kind of got to know them well, and we got talking, and we just decided to go out on our own. So we bought a building down at 729 South Main. It was a Raleigh Teach Sorts. It was a carburetor shop for $44,000, and we put about $40,000 in remodeling, and we moved down there and started Heartland Properties. It was just Barb and I, and then we had a secretary. We hired a secretary, so it was just us three. And then shortly thereafter, my mom joined us, and Jim Kaiser. And it just started filling up. I don't know when Ron Johnson and a whole group of people came, and we had to expand. And I had a drive-in garage doors in the back where I drove in my car inside and walked out of the door into my office. So I wanted to stay there.
I remember that building because Bill worked there.
Bill
the
Purdue
longest
came
time.
down,
Yeah.
and Leona. I hate, gosh, there must have been about 12 of us when we grew out of it, or more. We just have kept expanding. And part of the reason for expansion, I think, was Don Coates. We talked about doing development, Heartland Country Estates, and that's why that really intrigued me that we were going to buy and do a development. I had never done development. I just had 4 years experience in real estate. So,
Wow.
But we probably had, I don't want to be incorrect, but at least 10, 12 people there down at South Main.
Wow.
And then in 1993 come along, and we had an opportunity to buy the Sears Automotive Center. We bought it for $160,000.
You got a theme there, automotive.
Yeah.
Auto shop, and then
So
Well, he had to have a garage.
for
and
starting,
it was kind of funny. Some friends of mine were trying to buy it, and were telling me before we had moved and everything, some friends were telling me they had bought it and wanted to lease it to me. And I didn't tell them for a couple of months that I owned it. So I they figured it out afterwards because the mall was selling and closing down and stuff, and that was part of the mall. So we bought it and remodeled it, and it was a good place. I used to tell people, people kept coming there to get their tires fixed and work done on their cars and vehicles, and I would say, well, I can't help you with everything, but I still probably could help you with the lube job. That's a joke. But sometimes, realtors, they place us real high. But we went in there and built it out, and it was incredible. The people just kept coming. And we developed Heartland Country Estates, and everyone in town, nothing was like it. And we were selling lots back then for $25,000, 2.5 acre lots, or 30 if you bought 25 a piece. And people thought, you'll go broke. Who can afford that? And all the homes were 200,000 and above, and there was like 6 sales above 200,000. So we bought it, and I got a couple builders, and started doing spec homes down there, and it took off like lightning. And it was a great subdivision. And it still is, Meadowview Parkway, 53 lots. And it was kind of, I never picked up the phone really and called anybody to attract him. I remember when I got the Sears building, you came.
Yeah, 1995 is when I came.
Yeah. And Jason and, I knew his dad, Gary, and that was kind of an interesting situation. Gary had called me to do a CMA on his house in Bentley, Iowa. And when I got done with it, he agreed with me on the price and said, well, thanks a lot. And he sold it. So.
I think I've had that on before too.
Yeah. So it's just, we built that back end out. And, what was really nice about that building, it had a large garage, and we had gatherings all the time.
We had ping pong.
We had a retirement party for the Bluffs Butcher when he retired from Vickers.
By the way, Jake's grandfather. And we had at the present there, if you knew wrestling, most people would forget Mad Dog Vachon and Baron von Raschke and a whole bunch. They were celebrities. And we had a wonderful party, a retirement party for his dad. And we had the fight with Joe Frazier in the back of the garage the entire time. And we were smoking cigars and having a good time and a lot of food. Probably had 200-300 people. It was awesome.
And then we had parties all the time. We had in Y2000, we had a party in the Omni Center, about 800 people.
That's a great party.
I went to that.
Remember that?
Yeah,
that was
fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so we were we couldn't have it in our building, so it was too small for that size of party. But we had I'd say we had 30 parties in that building of 200 to 300 people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our way of giving back to community and I think inviting everyone we're doing business with, and everybody actually was welcome. But I met, Don Coates moved in, and he wasn't really an owner of Heartland Properties. His wife Barb was. And then John Tabor from Omaha came over, and him and Don bought the Midlands Mall.
Yeah.
And it was it was a year away from being torn down.
But it was boarded up when they bought it, I remember,
So I have a question, John, because Jason, you came in 1995?
Yes, 95, January 6th.
So what did you see in Jason that you knew that he'd make a good partner?
Well, I was looking, thinking ahead. I wanted to get someone young, some young people in there, and I made a deal with Jason shortly thereafter, I believe.
Yeah. When I came, I originally didn't come to be a partner. I just was a salesperson. I worked nights at United Parcel Service loading semis, and I had gotten my real estate license hoping to buy some rental properties. And John had called me to see because he knew my dad, see if I'd be interested in come and sell real estate there, because he knew I got my license. And I remember at the time I said, I'm not really big on salespeople. And he kind of said, it's not like that. You can, you're just basically finding people, matching them with what they're looking for. And so
exactly what you said to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said to you. I tell people that you're just like a matchmaker. Mm-hmm. And so I came and worked with him, and I would work nights at United Parcel Service. And when I got off work at like 3-4 in the morning, I'd sleep for a while and come in. And after a few months, kind of like Jake, I was selling a decent amount of stuff, and I was like making better money than I was working nights at United Parcel. And then I'm like, I love this. And John used to let me like do his houses open. He had all this new construction, which I believe, John, is one of the things that really helped build our company, is all the partnerships you had with builders and the new construction. Definitely. And that's something that I hope we move back towards a little, because we always had inventory, but I don't know why, John, you took me as a partner originally.
Well, I seen something in you, because shortly thereafter I offered Jason 10% of the company, and every 5 years I would sell him 10% more at the same price.
Until we got even.
Yeah. And we did that. Wow. But I'm thinking back, we grew over 60-something people.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But every single subdivision, even not our own, Duggins, Ferndale, and Briarwood, Heartland Properties, we were the single biggest lot purchaser. Yeah. We purchased 44 lots in Ferndale. We purchased over 60 in Briarwood.
Fox Run, you purchased a lot.
Fox Run, we went down, and it was only 29 homes. We bought the subdivision from a bank.
Yeah.
And so we had things going. And we were involved in every subdivision. That's what I really liked, is we were working with all the companies. Key Real Estate was one of our biggest lot purchasers.
Yeah.
from us in our own subdivisions.
And we always had a part. I mean, we always looked at the other companies as partners.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't ever. I mean, yes, they're competition, but we're all in it together. I mean, I never. That's one thing I'll say about John being a partner. I never heard him once say a bad thing about one of our other companies. It's competition, and he's kind of always been that way. I think that he's just always been very positive, and I think that's why he attracted so many people. I mean, I honestly, at first, I think some people thought, is he too good to be true? Is he really this good a guy? And he is, you know. And so but I really think the development and all the new construction that he partnered with people and took risk. I mean, there were years, how many trades did you take in on a year sometimes to put deals together?
1 year I did 44 trades.
Yeah.
Oh my
Meaning he bought their house if they bought this one. And I mean, I can remember times it was like a juggling. He was doing a ton of trades and, you know, maybe you didn't make a ton, but you made something.
Sure.
And that is something he just thought outside the box. And I think that it was like one thing working with him, you never felt like there wasn't flexibility.
Sure.
It's always felt like you could make you know, if this didn't work well, we can be flexible. And that's something even more so than me as a partner. He's always been the most flexible one.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's so much to think about, you know, with the subdivisions and just John Edwards. I grew up with him and Dan Van Houten. They grew up 2 blocks away. So I knew him since childhood.
We want to have them sometime on. We would like to have one with all you three on here.
And I knew Dan Van Houten since 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then Dave Edwards, I knew Dave better than John. He was a year older than me. But I knew them since grade school. So they, you know, Dan Van Houten worked for us for a while before he took a job. He took a job as a manager in Dodge. So he worked at Heartland. And a lot of people worked at Heartland. And you know, some people have moved on and started their own businesses, which I did. So I've never begrudged anybody doing that. We've lost a few people that left and started their own companies, but that's, you know, what do you say?
Yeah, that's what you did. I mean, you have Tammy Stewart that went on her own, the cooks, different people, and, you know, you wish them the best. And I think, you know, they're just trying to do what you kind of created. I think we've been really lucky that the other owners of companies in towns have been such great partners, kind of. I mean, like John Edwards and Dan Van Houten, we've always just been able to pick up the phone and call them if we have questions. Or, yeah, I think it's been really unique in our community, our relationship with the other brokers.
Yeah, that kind of a pivotal point happened in 1998. NP Dodge was looking at trying to buy us. And they were coming to town, and we were, you know, we talked to them a bit, and they said, well, become our friend or not. It was kind of like, you know, they're a big company. It kind of worried me a little bit, but not really. I mean, I knew them, and they came to town. They got a small office, and they did pretty well. They had Century 21 back then too. Yep. And Steve Riso was there, but him and Jim Kaiser joined Heartland Properties. So a lot of people were coming over to our company. But after MP Dodge had made the offer, Barb was a really good partner, but she was, you know, most important thing in Barb Coates' life was her family.
Still is, yeah.
We started growing, and she's seen it growing, and she just kind of wanted to step aside because it was becoming too much, and so she wanted to spend more time with her family. So that they came to me, and I bought them out for what I put in. I think we each put in like $40,000 to start, but you know, we started with nothing. And so I got to, you know, they're probably one of the most important people in my life. And today, you know, Don and I still own the old building, 301 West Broadway. And the first building that I kept for 15 years, I sold it on land contract to Jantiques for zero money down, 15-year note. So they just paid me off in June. So I still have my first.
That many years, huh?
Yeah. And they never missed a payment. Well, they might have missed a couple, but they worked it out.
Yeah.
What was the first house you ever sold? Do you remember the first house that you sold?
Well, the first house I sold, I think, was down on the Tree Streets, and it was a really neat deal. These couple had got together, and they married each other's wives, you know, and I was selling. It was kind of they worked up at the hospital, and it was Plunkett's, and I'm trying to think of the Plunkett's and the other name, and they just hated each other. And I was selling both their homes in a divorce, and they were each trying to buy new homes. And so I had to deal with the couples that were getting a divorce, and they would just go rip into each other to me. And then when they came to me, and talked, and I would say, gosh, I wish I remember the name. I'd say, well, they'd say terrible things about Ira Plunkett. And they'd say, well, what did Ira say? And I said, he's never said a word about that, and so
Just kept peace.
I kept peace, and I sold their homes and sold them both homes, and never said a word, never got involved in any of the
Well, that's
trash talk.
part of our job, right?
Yeah.
Marriage counselor,
Yeah.
counselor,
Yeah, that is true.
therapist.
They used to say like 1 out of 5 real estate transactions was because of divorce or something. They used to say that. I don't know if that statistic residentially is true, but I mean, we deal with a lot of people sometimes they're in turmoil in their life.
So yeah, it's a people business and relationships. I think that you think of the people first and the commissions follow. That's what I always say. Treat your client, everything else will follow.
Yeah.
If you think about the big commission all the time, it's just not the way to go. I'm a capitalist, don't get me wrong, but it follows. If you treat people, my idea always was, if I do business with someone, they'll do it again with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
That's true with other realtors too.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to have good relationships with everyone when you're doing
Yes.
this.
I always say that too. I mean, if you're presenting an offer and you got 2 equal offers sitting there and the seller's reviewing them, I would think the realtor that has it listed is gonna, lean towards the agent that's easiest to work with. So I think you do have a responsibility to try to get along with your fellow realtors as well as you can. Not that things are always perfect, but I think it's important to have good relationships with the other realtors in the community.
Absolutely.
Because NP Dodge, was a big company, and Nate Dodge, and that kind of stirred Barb to get out too when they came and wanted to buy us, and I said politely no. Nate Dodge, we had lunch with him, and Nate Dodge is a wonderful person, but I just said no. I'm just doing fine, and you'll do fine, and welcome to the community.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
chose to keep going on.
And they were expanding. I believe right when we bought this building, at that time where were they, Jake?
They were down in the Ogden Center, and then they moved to Woodbury, and they got that big office there.
Before they went to Woodbury, we had bought this, and I actually tried to lease them my building on 301 West Broadway.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I even said, people may come there, looking for us. It's built out for a real estate office. And Nate was really surprised I would lease to him. And I said, why not? You're coming to town, you'll pay the rent.
Yeah.
So they didn't. We ended up leasing someone else, and they went out there. But they've grown, and I think Heartland's just, this building was, we've had 3 stepping stones.
Yep.
And we took the whole floor of this building, and we got lucky and landed in Opera as a tenant on the 3rd floor, and it's worked out. And I can't say, most of the agents here have been here a long time. A lot of people stay, got a lot of longevity. And agents here, Jim Kaiser, I think, may have been here the longest.
Yeah, I
But a
think
lot
so.
of people, Jason, you 30
Well,
something
we have
years.
Gary Fisher, Ron Johnson. We have a lot of agents that retired from here.
Yeah.
I mean, this one thing, for the most part, a lot of agents have really stuck it out here, and it seems like the agents that have stuck it out here have done well.
Yeah,
I mean, not that they don't do well in other places too. We have
Right.
a lot of agents that truly have retired from real estate working here.
And I think some agents that left and just went to other companies, I truly believe that they haven't made much more, if more, ever leaving here. They made their best living ever.
They just wanted to change, or
Yeah.
sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, and maybe
Yeah.
sometimes it is. But I think in general, if you worked here, you always do wonder a little, is another place better or not? I feel like our company right now, and I hope you guys would agree as well. You weren't here in the early years, but it feels like it's about the best culture and the best
Oh, yeah.
atmosphere we've ever had.
Been a long time.
And I think part of that is a little bit because of John and some of the other leadership, that we've made a decision. Hey, what are we doing for our agents? What are we giving back? What value are we providing? And maybe just thinking a little different than we used to.
Sure.
And I think a lot of that culture was built from what John started.
Well, I think I was insightful enough to know, as Jason's getting younger, I'll be 70, he'll be 50, we're 17 years apart.
Yeah.
And that was a key for me, saying, hey, I have to get some younger minds in here. So it's always, I noticed a lot of the people were getting older. We had to get young people in here to keep this company going. I remember we had our 25th anniversary up on the parking garage, and Mike McCarthy came and said, only 10% of the companies ever make it 25 years that start. 10%.
Wow.
Wow.
And so I thought about that, and and I give a lot of credit to you, Jason, and then Mark Hanwright coming
Oh
along.
boy, he's been a
And,
blessing.
I seen a lot of talent there. I seen a lot of people, and I wanted Mark to have a piece of the company, so we did. And because I'll be 70 this year. I'm not going anywhere, but I think I know that we needed some younger, brighter minds. I say for technology and things like that. I'm a old-fashioned guy that still picks up the phone. They come to my office and I talk about real estate for 5 minutes and everything else for a half hour.
Right. That's true. I think that's part of your success, though.
Yeah.
I would note on that, and I think that legacy program we're doing, slowly allowing other people to come in and own a small percentage, in the end will help create something that when we're gone, the company can still exist
Yeah.
with a group of people that are committed. We know they are committed. They sell a lot of real estate. They invest in real estate, because when we did that program, our whole idea behind it was, let's find other people like ourselves that truly want to build wealth through real estate, not only be great salespeople, but also retire from what they do in the business.
Mhm.
And that program will eventually allow people to backfill us, and we won't be here anymore. We'll be dead and gone, and hopefully they'll be running the place, and Heartland will still be here, 40 years from now.
Yeah. For what John just said a second ago, if we could back up real quick, you said you'll talk 5 minutes about real estate and then all the rest of the time about just anything in general.
Right.
And I remember Jason, he said it to me like 3 or 4 times, and you have like, I think three
qualities.
Yeah, 3 qualities. And one, you got to talk about other things besides real estate. So hearing that from you too, kind of hit me
I
a little
learned
bit.
it
And
from
yeah,
him. I mean, I will
think
tell you, I
that's
always tell people when they come
so
in to be
important.
a realtor, I always say, you need to be self-driven. No one's going to tell you to come to work. You have to come in here on your own. You can set your hours, but no one's going to make you come to
Yep.
work or follow up with you. Number 2, you got to be good at talking to people about other things than real estate,
Yep.
because if you're just always selling them something, they're not going to be real interested in talking to you. And number 3, you got to have thick skin, because
Yes.
your heart gets broken all
Yes.
the time.
Yeah, that and Jake, knowing their families. I knew Bill Perdue was with me a long time, and he was Bill was really sharp in commercial real
Oh,
estate
boy.
and a lot of things, and he
People don't realize how much he sold.
and he built a lot of houses with us and in commercial real estate. He taught me a lot in the commercial
Yeah.
part. He's one of the reasons I have a love for commercial real estate.
Sure.
But the subdivisions have just been incredible.
Mhm.
We met Bob McCarthy in the mid '90s. Went to lunch at Fish and Game with John Nelson and Mike McCarthy. And Mike, we hit it off. Mike says, I ought to introduce you to my brother Bob. And I think you guys did hit it off well. And maybe he runs a construction company. So I met Bob, and within 6 months we're doing. I don't know if we did Cloverleaf first or Ellis Circle by Krispy Kreme, that park there.
I don't remember. Cloverleaf was in, 90,
95,
96,
yeah.
96, 97.
And we built over 200 infill homes with Lloyd Banks. And
Yeah.
we got a story. He started building for us in the 70s.
Wow.
When he was that old, and he'd pick lots. He built these infill homes, and they had tax credits. And we built a couple hundred of them. We did tore down the trailer park by Krispy Kreme,
Yeah.
developed
Did Eagle Trail.
Eagle Trail, 174 lots, 53 lots in Cloverleaf. We poured a mile of concrete in a day. That was a big thing for Bob Blue, pouring a mile of street in one day. He had never done that. And then we got in the Bentry. Everybody thought we'd go.
That was 100 and some homes.
That was 161 lots, 6 phases.
More assessed value than the whole city of Trainer. I
Right.
think it's Trainer School District, and there's Bentry that probably has more assessed value.
Yeah, we doubled the assessed valuation of Trainer. And we brought a water 5 miles from where Tweed is, all out to Bentry, underneath the airport. And that was the largest residential water extension in the state of Iowa ever. And that was through the county, and they TIF'd it. We had to personally guarantee it, you guys. It was $2 million. And Bob and I had to sign personal guarantees for it. They brought it to the edge of our property, nothing inside our property. Everything was on us. And our property taxes off the homes had to pay it back, or we had to write checks. I think we wrote a check once for less than $1,000. That's all. And that it took off really well, and the property taxes on the homes paid the TIF back, and that water line created Hackett subdivision, Granville Estates, Hill Cedar Creek,
Came off that water
hundreds
line.
of homes, off that water line. So that water line extension was a big part, and that was Heartland Properties. I say Heartland because I never felt it was just me, if you start thinking like that, it's wrong. It's a we world. I mean, the bankers, my people, Heartland was a tool for me to do all this, and I had to do it with a lot of people, and I think I'm blessed. I consider everybody in the company friends. I don't, some of the newer people, as you get older, you lose your memory. You have to remember.
That's awesome.
But it's I don't know. I think we've developed over and I say we, and Jason's been part of. He's been part of the whole thing. Down by what's it, Cedar Point by
Yep.
North Central.
Yep. Discovery Circle. We named that after the Discovery Tour, Lewis and Clark. So we named that street Discovery Circle.
We did. We got the city got in trouble with one off Madison Avenue, some grading.
Autumn Circle. We own a house up on Autumn
Yeah.
still.
And I can't think of how many things we've been involved in. It's all been fun. It's all been risk taking, but we kind of mitigate the risk. Never really worried about any, taking on that. Bentree was a really big undertaking. So I had some guys from Okoboji come down and built a golf course, and we gave them ground and lots, and it was probably worth $500,000. We gifted them. And they did the course, and we had the subdivision. We made a deal on the lots and stuff, and it worked out very well for us. No TIF inside. Everything came out of our pocket. So it was I'm kind of proud of it. It's a nice subdivision.
Beautiful.
And you live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yvette lives there.
Jake could probably own it.
Yeah. We'll probably all be working for Jake. That's okay.
Out of all your time, John, in real estate, what's one of the best decisions that you've ever made? And also, what's one of the biggest risks that you've ever took?
Well, the biggest risk, was Heartland Country Estates. I remember Don Coates, was my partner, and he hired everybody for the subdivision. And we had a guy that did the street, not with the slip form, he did Donnie Finken.
Yep.
And he poured it the old fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a profilometer test, you guys, with the county. You got to be able to county standards, and they do. You got to have borings for compaction and everything, and they test the concrete and everything before they accept the road. They did a profilometer test, and it flunked. That meant it was too rough. Jerry Hare was county engineer at that time, and Don Coates did not take it well. He mentioned a few words I cannot say to his face. And Jerry Harris said, we're never going to take your road. And I had a bunch of lots, sold or held on, on reserve for people, with them thinking you're going to have a county road. And we got our first interest due on Christmas Eve. And back then, it was a lot of money. It was scary, the first interest payment I got, and I'm not knowing if I'm even going to have a road accepted by the county. But after talking to Barb, calming Don down, and Don let me go to breakfast with Jerry Hare. Well, I went with the breakfast 5 or 6 times, and we had to grind it down, you guys, and finally got accepted. But that scared me,
Had to be.
And the best decision, I think, was the people. Jason and all you guys, and making a place for it. Buying this building was a big decision. I mean, I look at a building like this, it was empty. I came down at 9 o'clock in the morning to list this building, and 11 a.m. we bought it.
Yeah. And that was really fortunate for me because at the time,
I did not know
it was a really fortunate thing for me because at the time I just owned 12.5% of it when I originally bought. Then later, John let me buy in as an equal partner and become 50-50. But it was a really good investment in general. I want to go back though to John's comment on the road, because that road, they poured it, and when you go across that road, you'll see little grind spots where they made him grind it. But the comment I want to make is, next time you drive that road, look at the age. That road was put in 94, 95, right in there. 92, I'm sorry. There's no cracks in that road almost. It's in great shape.
wow.
It's probably one of the better county roads poured. If you go out to Bentry, there's quite a few cracks like that that's cracking up and stuff. That road
That's awesome.
may have those grinds of those things on it, but whatever Don did there, that cement held well. It's in great shape still.
awesome.
So I think they were wrong there. I think he did a great job in that road. For a county road of that age, when you think about it, it's 30 some years old.
Yeah.
And it's still in good shape.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
and, we know a lot of people out there. You make friends with the people
Yeah.
that sell. I sold a couple lots. You can buy 2 lots for 50,000, and that was good money. All of our deals kind of worked out. Just timing. I think timing. I'll say luck too. I'll take luck
I mean,
anytime.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
I think been blessed. Bentry, we probably closed on 30 lots in 6 months.
Yeah,
And,
that was really.
but they were,
a deal.
you guys, those lots were 42,000 on phase 2, 60,000 on the golf course. I mean, and we were making good money.
Yeah.
And, there was no lot sales for that kind.
Oh,
But we did a deal with Jason's dad, Gary, who's still a dear friend. He bought 2 lots because his house wouldn't fit on one. And so did Borman built a big house. And I gave him a deal so they could, it'd be, people would see a nice house like that for
Sure.
subdivision. So it was a win-win for both of us. We used to have this parade of homes. And back then, I swear we'd have 300 to 400 people.
Right.
Unbelievable turnouts. And it's kind of faded away over the
Mhm.
years. I think, technology.
With the virtual tours and all the pictures, I would say luck too. You look at our trainer deal when we did that. We
years
put that
ago.
in right during COVID, and the market was hot. We did 29 lots, and we, in the town of Trainer, 29 lots is a pretty. If you look in comparison to the population of Trainer versus Council Bluffs, it would be equivalent to doing literally like 500 lots in Council
Right.
Bluffs, right? And we put those in, and
Couple
with
years.
COVID being so hot, we sold a good share of them within 6 months. We sold most of the lots.
Yeah.
And so, and it ended up being we got lucky there too. And that was some luck with the market. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, Heartland, one thing we have is we had a relationship with builders. So Jason and I had 5 specs going. And we tell these guys, we'll put up the money for a spec, but you have to do one too. So we'd have to 10 homes going at once.
that
We
helps.
flipped it a couple times, we were done. And that's our builders. We've always had great relationship with builders. And we've, and other companies too, selling them lots and that it's changed a little bit. We're going to do a new subdivision coming up, and it's going to be
Pioneer
down by Heartland Country Estates. So it's kind of neat because you drive by Heartland. I'm seeing, and this one is I think is going to lay out nice for the Heartland.
I think it's gonna be the nicest one we ever did. It's got 88 lots. The Wabash Trail, borders the whole south and west side of it. It's got wooded lots. It's got rolling. It's got flat. I think that subdivision will be one of the nicer, maybe not the nice one, of the nicer ones we've ever done, and look forward. We've been waiting a long time for that one.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the Council Bluffs Library, Heartland was hired to buy all the buildings and homes and mainly businesses to get torn down and put the public library together. Heartland was hired to do for the arena, buy all the ground and put the council arena. And they had 2
Nice.
choices at the end. One of them was ground I owned on Veterans Memorial, and the other one was down there where it is now off of Nebraska Avenue, that area, 23rd Avenue.
you did all the ground where Walgreens is too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did
Or a good share.
consolidated a bunch of buildings, bought them for Lee Gidler, and
Yeah.
did a Walgreens. But the arena down there, we bought the ground for the arena, and they platted out. We did Bass Pro. Bass Pro came, and we had to we put streets in at first. I wouldn't have done that. It was not in my control. I was just a real estate agent. The arena was not an anchor. It's kind of an anchor the wrong way, financial anchor.
Yeah.
But Bass Pro came in and it wasn't laid out right, so we had to tear some streets out and stuff. But I had to buy the trucking place down there. What was it?
Vanderhogs? Was it Vanderhogs?
Vanderhaeg.
Vanderhags or whatever?
We had to buy them out, and so we had to tear down a sewage pump station, and I ended up driving up to Prairie du Chien, brought the theater down here. We Heartland bought that ground and sold every single lot and helped develop that entire area. There's no other real estate company involved.
Oh wow. We also did down where Jenny Edmondson is, like where that new parking lot is, all there in the corner.
Okay.
There used to be Doc Capel apartments. There used to be homes there, kind of some homes that needed some work. We were hired we accumulated all those pieces together and put them together, and they tore them all down and made. That's why when you go to Jenny Edmondson there and you see the nice office building and all that, that was all redone, and they hired us to do that.
It's just incredible. It comes in your mind where Hy-Vee was. We bought all the businesses down there for PCDC, CHI. Cornhusker International, we bought all those buildings and torn down. So it's incredible. And I say we because I can't do it alone, but it's all been Council Bluffs doing so good to us. We have a party. We used to have a party every Thursday before the College World Series.
Yep.
And we, for how many years, Jason?
We had it for a lot of years up there. We haven't done it the last 2 or 3 years, I would say. And, our focus changed a little bit at the time. We decided we were going to try to do more stuff for our agents,
Right.
And because we kind of changed a little bit, trying to say our agents are, as a broker, kind of our customer, and trying to do more for the agents. But, there's got to be a time at some point we got to go back and do one of those parties. I think that'll come again, don't you? I mean, at some point.
We didn't look at it that way. Some people thought it was a Jason John party, but we invited everybody.
Yeah.
Jason, I never thought like
Yeah.
that. But then you got to start thinking outside the box, and perception. People think different things. So we had to make a change. And I think in the last 2 years, when this John Lund came in, Jason's friend, and talked to us, and I thought,
And not the real estate John Lund,
Yeah.
a different John
I
Lund.
thought, oh boy,
Yeah.
my
He-
first impression was,
Oh. Well, he came in and he goes, we were talking about where we were going the first few years. And he goes, the first thing is you guys aren't all even on the same page.
no.
He goes, you guys need to figure out if you're all on the same page where you're going. Well, we all sat down and we kind of looked at each other and we said, our choices were to shrink this thing and have like 8 or 10 of us and we'd all make a great living and move on? Or was it, do we want this thing to live and be a bigger company and, continue doing kind of what we're doing now? And when we left the meeting, we all said, yeah, we think we want to keep it bigger and grow it. And so one of the things we talked about in those meetings, which I think was helpful, it got us to where we are today, is let's start turning our focus more about giving back to the agents and supporting them and providing things. So when they come here, we make their jobs easier. And I think that's why our culture is so good today, because we really focus on that now. And we have a conversation regularly about it. We have a scheduled meeting that we basically talk about what are we doing for our people. We measure how they're doing. You guys know, Nikki measures how, if you're on track to hit your goals. And we didn't really used to keep track of that. We did a great job at a lot of things, but we didn't track the success of our agents. And so now, like when we hired Nikki as that sales success coach, her number one job is to make our agents get their goals. And she's measured on that. And we measure how well we're doing as a company based on how well you guys make your goals.
Sure.
And so we're still learning.
Sure.
We don't have it perfect.
It's been 38 years. I look back and I ran it. I always had someone I was a broker for a long time, but really not active, working with the agents every day. That wasn't my thing.
Right.
Always, had people. We had a mentor program way back at the other building, Bill
Yep.
Hartman, Jerry Thimble.
Yep.
So I always wanted to train. The big companies come to town, and Berkshire Hathaway, Better Homes and Gardens was way back when. They closed and came back with Jerry Duggan had the
Yeah.
franchise. It closed and they came back, and I think if people see that they're training, they're national companies. They have a aura to them that draws people. And here we are, a small town, but they haven't been able to come in and take us over because of our community. We've hung in there,
Very involved.
and I focus not as much. You got to pay attention sometimes what the competition is doing, but you got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I've you know, because it's John Lundale, I'm going, oh, Jason, you know, I don't know. I said, this thing's worked for us. Look where it's brought us. And I said, it was a tool for us, for everybody. I want everybody, you know, families welcome here, have a fun place to work. And on top of it, we all make money. You know, I sit in that desk in there and look out and think, this it's like unreal. It's surreal. They're just so
It's a
lucky.
great place to
Yeah.
work. I would say that I honestly, my heart, have never felt stronger about today. It's easier to recruit agents because I feel like we are the best place to work.
Mhm.
I mean, we have the support, we have the mentorship program, we have so many things now that we didn't have, and I feel like we've evolved. But we truly, we have two girls at the front desk. When you come here, someone's actually, the door's unlocked and someone works here and can take your earnest money check or whatever. I do think we are the best place to work in town. I mean,
I'm really
And-
happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Well, why did you come?
Why did I come? Well, I mean, I had family here.
Right.
You know, I call you guys family because I've known you many,
Long
many
time.
years. And it just, Heartland has always been kind of a staple in the community. And, you know, we talk about community, and that was the one thing that drove me here because I was born and raised in Council Bluffs, and I wanted to work for a company who's helped build Council Bluffs. And I think it was just a good fit all around for me. And you know, I've never, I've had other agencies reach out to me, but
Sure.
I never really had a desire to leave because it just feels like home.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
great.
that's
That's
what
good to hear
that's what kind of what I want to keep it. I mean, just like we give back to everything. Jason was on the board at Methodist Virginia, and they did lending, so
linear accelerator.
so
years
their
ago.
cancer. You know, we've given back, you know, financially to the community back and forth. The
That's right.
school system was going to build. We relocated into the Target building.
Yeah.
And then listed it back. And then Jason sold it to a guy from Omaha, certified transmission, and they got, you don't even know what's going on in there. The guy, you know, brought a nice company over to Council Bluffs.
Producing a lot.
So we were involved in selling all the outlots at the mall, out at the mall, the Bluffs, out at Bluffs Mall, and most of those people, you know, they divide off the lots. They got sold for $8.5 million, the whole thing. Then they sold them in ours. We sold most of the outlots out for those people.
Okay, so not to interrupt you, but you know, we've been talking about a lot of the things that we've done,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of touched base a little bit about the new edition going out by Heartland Estates, which a lot of people probably don't know.
Right.
So announcement, we have a new edition eventually going out by Heartland Estates. What other things are in the works?
Well, right now, you know, that's that's probably our biggest deal. We have Ryan Rogers has a piece of ground, 9 acres at the end of Stevens Road, and we're meeting with the city and looking at putting in townhome development, similar to Patrick Circle. You know, that's another thing that Jason and I did that up there. We got 36 townhomes.
Yeah, that
And
took off.
we kept a group of them. We sold some. We kept some for ourselves for you know, for income, passive income when we retire. So these ones, I believe, we're going to sell all of them.
I get calls weekly on
Yeah, I have
townhomes.
so many calls.
It's a niche.
Yeah.
I would tell you too, I just yesterday this came up. So I have a group that John and I sold some land to down there next to Fox Run. And I've talked to them for years about doing something. And just yesterday they called me with their engineer firm, and they have a plan laid out. And we would be marketing it. We wouldn't be actually developing it, but they're going to do 30 townhomes and like 4 commercial lots. And I didn't even know they've met with the city and everything. And so that's something I found out yesterday.
Farhan.
Yeah. So my friend Farhan that owns Fox Run with some partners, they showed me a plan yesterday, and I was really excited about it. So and we're always looking for stuff.
And
I mean,
we found the ground for Farhan.
Yep.
He's Jason's friend, and I can say he's a friend of mine.
Yes.
Jason, but
he
we
loves
sold him the ground at a really good price at the end when we had an opportunity, because we ended up buying all of Fox Run, the outlots, commercial. Now there's 360 apartments going town development, then Farhan's deal. So that's all for our agents to sell, and you know, and for the agents and the other companies too, seeing what we're doing. we can't do it alone. So I think, Jake, you come in, it's a great thing seeing younger people come.
Mhm.
This transition that's been occurring the last year, I have my doubts. I mean, I'm the, you get, ego's a terrible thing. You get I, and that's wrong, because it's always, it's a we world. And so, I'm kind of stepping down. In a way, I'm going to be here for a long time, but I'm pretty much let Jason and Mark run it.
Well, yeah.
And I have a voice, but I'm trusting them, and it's kind of hard sometimes because I'm not the guy.
It's your baby.
I think you're still the guy. I think you're the guy. I think, I envision, and again, we've talked about this a little bit. I hope at least we continue to work on doing these projects to provide inventory for this great sales team we have.
Sure.
And us grow our sales team. I'd love to see us get back to 50 agents maybe again. I don't know that we need 60 or 70, but it'd be nice to get back to 50 agents. And really, John and I's, as we grow older, is to go find projects where we're building houses, where we're building townhomes, where we're doing things where our agents can have those open houses and those new constructions like we used to,
Right.
and build some specs. I mean, there's no reason each of us couldn't do 2 specs a piece or something and then partner with some builders. So again, I too want to keep selling like John, but I also want to work towards creating more of these projects to create more inventory for our agents to sell, because I believe in the future, it's going to be attractive to agents to work at companies that create inventory for them to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
Hills of Cedar Creek got in a little bit of trouble in the 2008 time, and we jumped in and bought 29 lots and 4 model homes, and got involved there. We've been an exclusive company since day one for John Duggan. He's the majority out there, and I was building specs, but I've lost a few builders and friends, Chris Rosslow and Bob Criswell.
Bob Criswell passed
Bill
away.
Purdue built out there.
Lloyd.
And they had we'd have 5 or 6 specs going all the time in Hills Cedar Creek, and it's a little bit tougher out there because I'm paying retail for lots and spec, and so, but I it creates activity for Doug, and I make money, on the lots, but then we all have something. Heartland has something to sell. You sold a home to your family out there, and
Yeah.
I just had another spec close. We in our new subdivision, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's a half a mile past Pioneer Trail, if that.
Yeah.
And
On cement.
it's going to be gorgeous. We're taking water out there again. That water line there is like a 14-mile extension.
Yeah, it's
Incredible.
Huge.
And,
Rural water.
and it's going to be a beautiful subdivision. And we're going to spec houses there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get great.
It's scary. It's scary as can be because those are high dollar specs. But I would tell you, when you talk about that new construction, that I don't believe, this isn't a negative towards MP Dodge. I love the people over there. MP Dodge would not have did as well the last few years if it wasn't for BHI's up there on the hill. When you look at the volume that's going pending on all those new constructions,
Yeah.
for them, thank God they have that, because those numbers would look so much different if they didn't have that.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, you look at the volume of BHI's houses up there, they're all 400 to 500 plus houses. And that's what's really propped them up.
So what is the price range of the homes that are gonna go?
Probably, I would imagine 600 and up.
Yeah, because they're
You might see some a little bit under that.
Are they 1-2 acre lots?
1 acre.
1 to
1 acre
3,
plus.
really. You got
Okay.
1 to 3.
By law, a minimum of an acre. We're gonna have city water and septic, but we're grading it. I think it's gonna be, Heartland Country Estates had a really roll to it, real natural. This abuts the Wabash Trace, which we did with Heartland. We had to cross it, so we had to cross that and had to get permission from them. And this is gonna abut it. We're gonna have a direct access, I believe. To
We
the
hope,
trail.
if they agree to that, I guess we can run a walk down to the property line.
Right.
We're hoping. But you had a question, Jake.
When you're doing these, for my own knowledge and probably for other people's knowledge too, when you're doing these different projects, you got to obviously have like a certain eye for it, and then also like the idea, like how does the back end of it work? It's regarding when you find your land you have going on off the Pioneer Trail, like the idea, the thought, kind of how does that all happen?
Well, just like we picked Eagle Trail, I wanted a development by Manawa, so I bought it from Paul Delaney, and we sat on it for a few years, and then we picked Cloverleaf was the Sorensens.
Mhm.
And so and Bent Tree happened to be owned by a guy named Frank Kretschy from Omaha. And I met him through Mike McCarthy. And then we were majority partners. We bought him out. So you got to have an eye for the ground. Mark Hanwright found this ground
Yeah.
first, pretty much. It was across from him. And, it went up for auction. We bought before auction and almost bought the piece across there. Frank Kretschy did, a buddy that you bought. So you got to have an eye for the ground. But Fox Run was someone else and they didn't make it. And, we jumped in and cleaned that up. And now we're going to have an opportunity because of Farhan. So I think we have an eye for where the city's moving. I mean, I was buying ground in the 90s where Google is, or currently Google is. We used to own that. And they're building all the way down to 24th now. Google is. So on South Omaha Bridge Road, we've had a great influence and hand in that as a company over the years. A lot of where FedEx is, we owned all that ground and developed it. So it's been really lucky. I think you just kind of see where the city is going. And Bent Tree was out there a ways. It was a little risky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would add that I really think it's knowing, you guys, we get the phone calls in this company.
Sure.
We hear from the people. We're dealing with the buyers. All of you guys are coming to us saying, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have an acreage? It's about listening to the clients and then going, where could I find some to build these things that we're getting all these calls from?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all know there's a ton of Lewis Central district people that want to live outside of city limits. Pioneer Trail.
Right.
When we did Eagle Trail, we knew, what if we said to ourselves, we had a meeting, myself, John, and Bob McCarthy. What if we could build homes in Lewis Central District under $150,000 at the time? At the time, we were selling those houses down there for $139,000, and we paid $2,000 a year closing costs.
Right. Every house.
So it's about
It was unbelievable how fast it was.
it's knowing, the market.
Sure.
And who better to know the market than a company that's 30, 40, 50 salespeople, and you're getting calls every day and you're hearing and you don't have what they want. I mean, when I built my apartments on Valley View, it was all the rental calls we get. We get all these rentals and we don't have anything available. So I think it's really important to know what the community needs. And I don't think there's anyone in town much more knowledgeable than what the community needs than our agents and us. So again, I just think it's understanding what the people are needing and then going out and trying to solve the problem.
Okay. I have another question for you, John. Someone young like me and new and just getting into real estate and starting here. What's your number one piece of advice for me that I can walk out with today?
I think just keep doing what you're doing. You've got a great personality, develop relationships, you're reaching out, you're embracing technology. And I think that's really, you do the Facebook and we've had to change and that's where it's going in the future. And that's why I think, what we're doing now with like this podcast today, I've never done anything like this. And, with the technology changing, with how we get our houses out there, with all the pictures and the drones and we're sending out, we have, I don't know, Jason can, our backside of our website, I don't even understand it all, you guys. But I think you're embracing the tools, Jake. And you're young and you're open-minded. I think that's the key. Just keep your mind open and be honest, and you are, and you'll go a long ways. And you're on a great team. You three are just wonderful people, and you got a good leader, and you got everybody in here. And I just think that you reach out and treat people right, and then be respectful of the other agents too. Sometimes we get crossing paths and you think you got a listing and you don't. I think so. Have tough skins, kind of. It's kind of a business where you gotta have some tough skin.
Sure.
You can have your good friend come up to you and be happy and celebrate. I just bought a house. Well, you didn't buy it for me. Or they bought an open house. I swear it happened.
We just had it happen with a tenant that's a good friend. And
I had some people I thought, I've done I bought their homes and done wonders for him. He walks in a couple of weeks ago on a Friday, comes in to Brad Nutt, says, I want to buy this home of yours on 235th. And Brad says, he said, well, I can work with John Jerkovich. No, I want to work with you. And he goes out and didn't even hardly want to see it. Went out and bought an $800,000 house. And Brad calls me and I just laughed. I said, that's them.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not gonna say their
Yeah.
names, but
Well-
that's just how they are.
Yeah.
Well, John, thanks a million for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
it. It was an
Appreciate
honor
I have
having
one
you.
last question though, as we wrap this up. How do you see your future? Like, what are your plans? I know you said you want to kind of pull back just a little bit. We know you're going to be here. You've been traveling more.
Travel, my plans or do work, take off Monday mornings and take off Thursday mornings and take Fridays off and do these developments, sell less residential, refer it out and do a lot more commercial and be happy and leave for 3 months in the winter.
Yes.
I love Hawaii and that, and I want to leave and work less because each year gets a little bit better, but when I leave, I still work and it's just in me. But so having 1 foot in, 1 foot out is kind of hard. But I see me in that office. I hope I don't want to come back from vacation, Jason.
I'm not taking it. No, I'm not taking it. But you're not getting mine as
I
a.
see me being around a long time. I'm getting my education done for the next 3 years, and I hope my health stays good. I had that scare. I mean, just Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
And that's a big
set
deal
you
when
back
you're
a lot.
67.
Yeah.
It was a humbling experience.
Sure.
But it's good that you're finding a balance.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's been hard.
You built your legacy. Everyone plans to carry it on, and
That's where I'm letting go that I've done.
Yeah.
And to be here and I mean, this development is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I hope we build townhomes, and I'm excited for everyone here. And I think we got the best team ever, and I'm going along.
yay!
I love it. I
Well,
love it.
thank you.
Well, thanks a million
Thank
for
you.
coming on,
Thanks,
John.
John.
It was an honor. Again, everyone, John Jerkovich,
Yep.
OG and go.
OG and go. Yep. All right.
All right. Well, we're going to
Thank you,
wrap
guys.
this up, but thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll have our next episode in about 2 weeks.
Right.
Perfect.